Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Munch Bunch podcast. It's me, Megan Van Oy, myofunctional therapist, with my favorite co-host, Kimi Nishimoto. And we have actually a really fun guest on tonight. We have Anders Olmanson from REMastered Sleep with the REMplenish water bottle. I've got mine right here. Yeah, we all got ours.
Nice.
And actually, I had the pleasure to hang out with Anders in Atlanta when we were at the AAPMD conference back in September. So our booth was next to his, and we got to spend a ton of time talking about his product, but then also like just hanging out and having a good time. So Kimi and I get a lot of questions about the water bottle, what the purpose is, does it work, is it good, all those types of things. So I figured we'll get some facts and some myths busted, and just have a good time. So Anders, tell us a little bit about your background and kind of how this got started. What made you even come up with a water bottle that's supposed to help people with snoring?
Yeah, sounds good. Well, first, thanks for having me on. It's definitely our pleasure to join your podcast, the Munch Bunch Myo podcast.
That's right.
Love the name too. So yeah, my background's in biomedical engineering. I used to work at Medtronic on implantable drug infusion pumps. Then from there, I did a master's of science in medical device innovation, which led me to quitting my job and traveling the world studying healthcare with my Volkswagen Passat TDI as part of the diesel emissions scandal. So from there, after that, then I started REMastered Sleep with our team. And kind of how we got involved in it, like during my master's program, we're doing clinical immersion, and we're going to these different sleep clinics, and we see a severe obstructive sleep apnea patient just outright refuse CPAP therapy. So he's like, he doesn't even want to try it. So we're sitting there and we're watching, and the people there are explaining all the health risks of not using CPAP. They're like, you have so many apnea events that we're worried about your health just sleeping right now, and just won't even use it. So that was really eye-opening for myself and got me passionate about the sleep space. So we started doing research, and you quickly find out that 80% of cases are undiagnosed. Then of the cases that are diagnosed, you have a 20 to 50% outright refusal rate of CPAP, the gold standard. And then of the people that actually use the CPAP, there's a 50 to 60% compliance rate. So there's a lot of people that aren't being diagnosed, and a lot of people aren't being treated adequately. So that's what got us passionate. Okay, what can we do as an alternative? And we started looking into different research studies, studying the pathophysiology, the physiology. And we came across this didgeridoo study coming out of Switzerland. And for us, that was a wild study, just playing the didgeridoo. I think it was a half hour, for 4 months, that people reduce their obstructive sleep apnea from moderate to mild on average. So some people are getting better, improvement. Some people are getting slightly worse, depending on your condition. So that was huge for us. Then, then we went and started looking at the studies coming from the University of Sao Paulo in Brazil. And, then they're doing the targeted exercises. They call it oropharyngeal exercises, but, myofunctional therapy. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at that, and they showed even better results, using 15 targeted exercises. Then they simplified down to 6. So improvements both in snoring by 50% or greater, and then obstructive sleep apnea. I think one of the studies was about 10 AHI reductions, so apnea hypopnea index, how many times you stop breathing at night. So yeah, these were huge improvements, and we're like, oh, this is awesome. Why haven't we heard more about this? And why doesn't everyone do this stuff? So we started interviewing customers, patients, so snorers, obstructive sleep apnea patients, and we're like, hey, there's these exercises, what do you think? And some people are like, yeah, sign us up. And then a lot of other people are like, yeah, it's a lot of work, it's not, hard enough exercising normal muscles of the body versus mouth and throat. So that's what got us okay, how can we design something that makes it easy for people to want to do it, easy to integrate into their day? So we're going and doing all this brainstorming, and we're a bunch of engineers, so all this different stuff. And then was actually at my parents' place, and I'm watching their dog eat peanut butter out of a peanut butter Kong. I'm just watching this tongue motion as it's licking the peanut butter out, not even realizing it's doing this exercise to get peanut butter out. And I was like, what do people do every day? they drink water out of a water bottle. And that was like the big light
Hopefully.
bulb.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hopefully people are drinking their water.
So yeah, that's the story. And yep.
So we get asked a lot of times, we'll see it in the Facebook groups, or patients will ask us, or, that type of thing. They'll want to know, like, well, can I use this water bottle instead of myofunctional therapy? Is it supposed to be a replacement? What's really the purpose?
Yeah, I'd say, do what your myofunctional therapist recommends. Really our products for focus on the posterior of the mouth. So it's really good for getting your tongue up on the roof of your mouth naturally, just because it's getting your tongue in that position as you're using it. So you don't have to think about trying to get it there. Another part it's trying to do is exercise your back of the throat and soft palate muscles. But people might have other conditions that, that they're working with their myofunctional therapist. So it really depends on, what they're doing, but it can be used as a tool to help assist therapy. So instead of having to think about doing, maybe some of the posterior exercise, maybe it's a way for a person to easily incorporate into their day where they're drinking water versus having to think about, doing whatever exercise in addition, So yeah, we're not trying to replace myofunctional therapy, but definitely be working with, myofunctional therapy and whatever is best for the patient.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
One thing that I think is really helpful about the water bottle is it makes it very intuitive for tongue thrusters, because you can't do the normal tongue thrust pushing against your teeth and between your teeth. You have to, I should just show you. Can I just show you?
Yeah, go for
Okay.
it.
Do it.
Demo for y'all. So Anders, correct me if I'm wrong, but you hold the tip of your tongue here, and then this part is on the roof of the mouth. So it's like this very long, only other word to say it is like a nipple. Because it's meant to be like similar to breastfeeding. Is that correct?
It's been described that many times, yes. And we modeled it semi off of that.
I call it my breastfeeding water bottle. I'm like, I'm gonna breastfeed my water bottle today. But you hold your tongue against the nipple, and then it goes against the roof, and your tongue has to move up and down like a pump.
Yep. And kind of create like a suction.
Yep. Yeah. So perfect description.
The breastfeeding water bottle.
we don't market it as that, but
That's probably fair. Yeah, and I think so. As if you're a regular listener to our podcast, you know that we obviously love the Breathe Institute and Dr. Zaghi, and obviously our mentor and friend Sarah, and who Anders knows both of those people now. You got to meet everybody in person in Atlanta, but Dr. Zaghi loves this water bottle too. Didn't you gave him one, and he was like really kind of skeptical at first, and now he's like loves it.
Yeah, I had a picture of him with the thumbs up and like the REMastered Sleep water. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so anything Dr. Zaghi likes, we're usually pretty on board for. So well, I guess we probably should ask, people are going to ask us, how much do these cost?
Yeah, so we have multiple versions. So we have a straw version, a plastic bottle version, and then a steel insulated bottle version. And really the therapy part is all the same between them. It's really what vessel do you want to carry your water in, or what container. So the straw version comes in at $45. That includes free shipping and also a 60-day money back guarantee.
Cool.
We had some people so we had a summer 2020 usability study. 93%, they report reductions in snoring, but there was 7% that didn't. So we have a, money back guarantee in case, that's not your main condition. Because we sell it for snoring mostly online, direct to consumer. But then the next version is our plastic water bottle. That one's $55 with free shipping. Then the steel bottle goes up to $70 with free shipping.
Yeah, which is pretty reasonable considering how much Hydro Flask costs, and I'm pretty sure that's comparable with the market. So
yeah, there's a balance. Like the value of it is a lot more than that, but you're also want to make it affordable,
make it accessible. Yeah. How often would you say, can you ever overuse the water bottle?
Yeah, well, so we recommend that, if you're like feeling fatigue, then to just take a break. Yeah, maybe if you're drinking like 6 of these in a day or definitely, yeah. And definitely when you're first using it, because you're getting used to it. So make sure you're using it properly, and kind of take it easy, the first day or two, because it's different. It's working out muscles that, you're maybe not used to working out. So yeah, we just recommend if you do have fatigue, it's like working out other muscles of your body, like you'd want to just take a break. But yeah, I don't know, kind of for the most part, it shouldn't be too, you should, with the 1 to 2 bottles, you should probably hope most people wouldn't be hitting that, but everyone's starting at a different level. So,
and to be fair, most people that all 3 of us would hang with, they all have myofunctional disorders where they're not swallowing correctly anyway. So it's going to feel more tiring, and you're not used to drinking smaller sips at a time. They're used to just open the hatch, glug, 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 and then go to work. So it forces you to slow down because you can't guzzle.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, you can't chug it. So you gotta like take it easy. And then as far as like maintenance of it, how long does like I guess we're calling it nipple for lack of a better word. Does that ever wear out? Do you ever need to replace it? What's the?
Yeah, so it should last. We're still figuring out like how long exactly, but for people who, when our original usability studies, it's almost been 1.5 years. Like they're still going strong. So it really depends. Ways you can break it though, like if you're cleaning it and you accidentally like puncture the nozzle, like then yeah, you can break it that way. The other ways we've gotten failures is if like a kid gets it and starts chewing on the end, and yeah. But other than that, we haven't had failures yet. So it should last a long time as long as you take care of it. So we expect at least 1 year, and so far it's been more than 1 year.
Now with this part here that goes in the mouth and then against the roof, did you guys design that with the idea of breastfeeding in mind, where the nipple should go to the soft palate junction and the baby's compressing with the tongue? Was that kind of the idea, or was it just happenstance?
It was a mixture of like testing it, and then we were getting feedback from speech therapists and myofunctional therapists. So it was like in just iterating, because we were doing different like lengths and stuff, and that ended up just being the one that the therapists liked more. And another part of the therapy is making sure you compress the nozzle against the roof of the mouth. So it's also part of that too, to make sure there's some area to compress it. But yeah, it was definitely like, yeah, just the iterations. And, we did a lot of like 3D printing, and then, like testing like many iterations. So kind of probably tested like over 100 versions overall, probably, I don't know how many we tested, but yeah, it took a while, but that's what we ended up with.
Yeah, a lot of trial and error. Well, it's good that you like did that though, like tried it, feedback, because that's really what's going to help make it long term. I know on the professional side of things, people are kind of asking about like if you guys are planning on doing some studies around this, and because you've always got the really critical thinkers, the people who are always going to challenge, does this actually work? Is this just another gimmick, right? So what are your guys' plans for the future on that?
Yep. So we have applied for NIH SBIR studies to do a clinical study with obstructive sleep apnea patients.
Cool.
We're actually like this close to getting the grant.
Yay.
Hopefully we get it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I think they're still waiting on figuring out the federal budget. So we think it sounds pretty probable that we're going to get it. So that's like one thing that we want to do for sure, is start testing it with obstructive sleep apnea patients and getting like before and after, sleep study data. So that's kind of our more near-term stuff. Then we'll definitely keep putting out more studies. Like we definitely want to, there's a lot of applications for our product. So there's a lot of potential beyond like snoring and obstructive sleep apnea. So well, if anyone wants to do a study with us, like come let us know.
All you snorers, we'll get you in. We'll get you as volunteers. We'll give you a special Munch Bunch code that like brings you to like the first in line.
I'll volunteer my boyfriend Andy as tribute.
Poor
Sounds good.
Andy.
Actually, he is such a tongue thruster, anterior open bite. And when I have him do this, he's like, wow, it feels good to swallow the right way.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome. Yeah, because I mean, because tongue thrusting, that's another, there's another application that we're just seeing, based on our feedback right there. So
Yeah, is there any research or anything that you guys noticed with tongue thrusting? Because that's a hard habit to get rid of.
So that was something we like took into consideration when we're designing it. So it can definitely, it's designed to like make you want to put your tongue in that position where you're doing the motions like that. For the most part, it should hopefully help someone with that. But like if you have a bad habit of like really keeping your tongue down or something like that, you could use it incorrectly. So it's kind of, you have to refer the instructions and make sure you're doing it properly. As long as you're doing it properly, yeah, it should probably hopefully help. But yeah, read the instructions. Is what I'll say.
Instructions they come with the water bottle when you purchase it. All the parts come. They also have like a little cleaning straw. So they definitely don't skimp out on the everything that they give you as a consumer, which is really cool. So yeah, you really make sure everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. So
and lots of great educational stuff in the instructions too. So beyond that, because part of it, we want to make sure we're educating people who maybe they're not as familiar with myofunctional therapy or what is a proper swallow or nasal breathing and proper tongue position, hopefully giving more information. And then also on snoring and obstructive sleep apnea as well. So
yeah,
a lot of great information. We like to educate,
Yeah, I mean, education's a huge part of what we do. Like that really is half the battle is, getting people to understand, and again, kind of what is like true, what's false, what is like misconstrued, those types of things. And we run into that stuff all the time. The misinformation can be huge. So being able to educate and have that out there is really important.
Now, Anders, I work a lot with kids, specifically like young kids, and the little ones, it's really hard to teach them how to swallow correctly because they're like, I have a tongue and I can control it. Really?
Well, adults are like that too.
Touche. Is there an age that is okay or appropriate, or is everything good?
So we originally designed this product for adults. So we're actually working on a pediatric product. Like risk wise, there isn't really that much risk that we've established talking with different therapists, but we would like to make sure we design it, appropriately for the right size mouth, as like a child will be developing. So we're doing our own research on that right now. At this point, we just leave it up to the therapist, as long as they're making sure that, if they are going to use it, if they decide to use it with a child, to make sure they're using it properly and that they're getting good benefit, like they would know more than we would for that specific situation. But yeah, we're working on a pediatric version. So that's, stay tuned.
Yeah. A little bit smaller, probably some cool prints on it, different fun colors, all those things too, something gets the kids excited.
Megan, we'll have to interview you later. We'll need to get some,
yeah.
Sounds like you have some good ideas already.
I just had another one.
We're gonna be in the think tank for this.
A little free advice here. I've been saying for years, like, why don't they just make a baby bottle that actually functions and like a nipple, like how breastfeeding is supposed to be? So that's your next one, okay?
The infant one.
We're going, we're starting
younger and younger,
working our way, younger. Yep.
Yeah, like the Benjamin Button of water bottles.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, then you can use Isabel as your, Isabel can be a tester for that. So since she's like my little myofunctional therapy testing baby anyway, so.
Sounds good.
Yeah. No, I think the kid ones were really cool. I know we talked about it kind of a bit in Atlanta, and talking with some of the speech therapists who really specialize in that age group, really specialize in the swallowing. So I know you've gotten a lot of good feedback, and I'm excited to see kind of what the next round looks like. So, gosh, anything else that you guys can think of? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. I'm curious for you because, like, as you know, it's the hardest people to help is your family.
That's so true. Unless you make them.
And then you're like, you have to.
Yeah.
Do your parents have issues, and have they used the product consistently and gotten better, or have they been fighting you?
Yeah, so actually, like, I don't know if my dad wants me to talk about this on the thing, but he was one of the original people that we interviewed back, when we're way before all this. This is like years ago. We're interviewing, and we interview him because we knew my mom said he snored. And then we're like, hey, Dad, like, what do you think? Tell us about your snoring. He's like, oh, I don't snore. And then we're like, whoa, Mom says you do. He's like, no, I don't snore. So then we bring Mom in, and she's like, yeah, it keeps me up for like an hour every night because I can't fall asleep so he uses the product, and that was more, it wasn't very hard to convince him, and it helps him definitely. If he drinks more beer one night, then maybe he'll snore a little bit for my mom. Still, it's not a miracle worker, I guess. I can only do so much. But yeah, he uses it regularly. I use it regularly. My brother uses it. My sister-in-law uses it. My other brother-in-law uses it.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a lot of my aunt uses it. Like, there's a lot of, I guess we got a lot of support. My uncle uses it. Like, lots of support.
Yeah.
It wasn't very hard, but I think there was more like supporting us from like a business standpoint. So yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that question.
Yeah, little did they know.
Yeah, because I don't know if you'd want to just be like, hey, like unannounced, like, oh, you snore.
Oh no, I'm totally doing that.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes.
Oh yeah, see, Kimi and I have no shame. We'll just do it. Be like, I got you this present for myself, for you.
It's a good gift, but I think you have to make sure it's not like a surprise. Probably, I don't know. Maybe it's fine. Maybe you need. Maybe they need that little nudge in the right direction.
Yeah,
Megan and
not
I
in
are
our
like,
family.
yeah, you're not doing your exercises. You're getting a water bottle.
And then you're going to feel all this fatigue and realize you should be doing your exercises. Yeah. And actually, Anders, my dad was my first patient. So, like, that's okay. That's what dads are good for. They're,
Oh, yeah.
They're good guinea pigs.
Because all dads snore.
All dads snore.
Yep.
So actually, for me, when I go to weddings now, for the most part, I end up giving like REMplenishes as gifts.
I love that.
So I do give it. Yeah.
Yeah. For a good night's sleep.
Now,
I love it.
Metal one, is it more insulated?
Yeah, so the metal one's a little different. Yeah, it's insulated, copper double walled, vacuum insulated. So it'll keep drinks cold. Because I used to use the plastic one, and then once we launched the steel one, I started using it. I was like, man, it's actually really nice having your drinks cold, like after being in like a warm car or something. But the difference with this one, like the straw is like more loose in the bottle, so you can take it out easily, just to use it.
Yeah. Whereas like this one's like attached.
Yeah. So that's the big difference. So yeah, you have to like unscrew it, screw it to use it. So it's a little not as easy as the other one where you can just pop it open, but still really nice, really easy to use. So
yeah, this one has the pop top on it.
Now, what I think is wonderful is I like to put ice in mine because that gives me more tactile sensation in my throat. So I can feel the colds going down. So I kind of I like it for that because it helps people that are very unaware of their body. Andy, my boyfriend.
We love you, Andy.
So yeah, I think because the problem with the plastic one would be that it'd kind of sweat, if you had the ice in it. I don't know if you've noticed that. This one, it wouldn't do that. You don't have to worry about it sweating or any of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it just depends on if you care whether or not, because I like the plastic one because I drink a ton of water. And so I like having, I think I asked you, I'm like, are you coming out with like a 32-ounce one of these? Because I like having more ounces and like not having to go back for as many refills.
Yeah, we kind of made the trade-off with it fitting in a cup holder.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that it fits in a cup holder. Yeah, you just like have to make it taller and taller. So it like almost hits like the ceiling of, yeah, it almost hits the roof of your car, but doesn't quite reach it.
It's like those Nalgene's that are like,
Yeah. It's like a didgeridoo. It's that big.
You just rip off the name Big Gulp. And then parentheses, you're not supposed to gulp.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. I love it. All right, Kimmy, what you got for us?
So is there any like special deals right now on the REMplenish water bottle, or any promos going on, or promo codes?
So we did just have a Black Friday sale, but that one ended. I think we're going to be doing something for the holidays, kind of like buy over 100, get 10% off. $100 worth, not 100 bottles. But
100 water bottles.
You can buy 100. So yeah, and I don't know if it's active or not. I'll say we'll make it be this, because we so holiday 10 for 10% off.
Cool.
We're planning on it. I don't think it was active, so I'll just say it. I'll just
surprise launch.
All right, I'll put that in the description of the pod. And is that holiday 10 all caps or lowercase?
Yeah, it does. I don't think the caps matter.
Okay,
It's just
cool.
Yeah, holiday 10.
Perfect. Cool. We'll put
Sweet.
that on there. We'll share that with everybody in the description. Awesome. Any last parting thoughts, or?
Yeah. Let's see. Parting thoughts. Well, I don't know if I have any.
That's okay. I mean, really, I think for me, I've loved using this. This has been really fun to use, seeing the difference and feeling. I have so many patients, and even so, like one of the things that I've been doing this past year is helping Sarah and her Myo Mentor courses. So I do the discussion calls with her. And we hear a lot from students, like, how can I feel that back of the tongue? And patients all the time, how can I feel the back of the tongue? And I think this has been a really cool tool, like for people who really are so unaware, or they just feel like they can't quite get that like neurofeedback to, have a tool that they can use to do that. So I think it's been an awesome add to what we already are doing.
Yeah. And for our listeners that have that, try the REMplenish and put some ice cubes in your water, because you feel it.
I'm gonna do that after that too. I haven't tried it with like ice cubes, so I'll definitely try that.
Yeah, ice cold water. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know it's a little bit later where you're at than where I'm at, so staying up a little bit late to hang out with us and just kind of chat with me and Kimmy. What's your guys' website? What's your Instagram? How can people find you on social media? Where can they go to order?
Yep. So REMasteredsleep.com. So www.REMasteredsleep.com. Instagram is REMastered Sleep. Facebook is REMastered Sleep. And then we also have LinkedIn. So wherever, definitely Instagram, we're posting a lot. Facebook, we're sharing different things. We're also trying to do more like blog posts in the future, so sharing more information. Also subscribe on our website, because we do different newsletters where we'll do like tongue tip of the month. So there's different things like that we're starting to do. And so yeah, definitely we hope to spread the information and more stuff about myofunctional therapy, as well as, when we do have discounts or when we launch a product or stuff like that. So
cool. Perfect. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up, and we'll be, of course, looking forward to, seeing you at conferences in the future. I'm sure we'll be seeing each other in person again in 2022, I'm sure. But in the meantime, we'll be able to chat online and keep using our water bottles. And thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. It was my pleasure, and glad to be on here, and thank you very much.
And thanks for making a cool product.
Yeah, even more so. Thanks for doing something cool.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And of course, you guys, you can catch us on the Munch Punch podcast on Instagram. You can catch, Kimi and I individually, Kimi at Mouth Muscle Memory, me at NWMFT or at My Faceology. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys on our next podcast.